Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're only going to outlaw that one, please.
We'll read the minutes from the last meeting. Those present were Fred Farley, Jody Price, John Pfeiffer, James Van Hook, Toby Dan, Andy Emmert, and Aaron Cole. Minutes from the May 26th meeting were read and approved. Andy gave his water and wastewater and street report. In addition, Mr. Emmert submitted a quote from Ron Hammock in the amount of $3,500 for tree trimming for various locations around town. The council approved the quote if the funds are available. As the clerk was at a State Board of Accounts school, this could not be confirmed at the time of the meeting. Regarding the trees in the town right-of-way at 235 East Meridian, the homeowner will be sent a courtesy letter to let him know that if he does not maintain the trees, then the town will remove them. Under Building Commissioner, Andy reported that the vacant house on 315 South Railroad has been vandalized so extensively that he is going to recommend that it be demolished. Mr. Pfeiffer suggested that he contact the mortgage holder, if there is one, with the possibility that they may write it off and deed it to the town. Mr. Culp will look into the matter. Under old business, there was none. And under new business, Roberta Terry asked permission to shut a block down on Main Street on August the 29th in order to hold a fundraiser. It would be a street dance for the Friends of the Library. The time will be 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. The council unanimously approved. With no further business to discuss, the claims were signed and the meeting adjourned. Are there any additions or corrections?
A motion to accept it?
All in favor?
Aye.
I guess I forgot the second.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Don. All right. Andy?
All right, under water, the plant has treated 539,840 gallons of water since June 9th. Our average daily usage is down to 38,560, which is a record for us. Water meters have been read for the month of June, and for the first time, we had no leaks. Filters were backwards on the 18th. The 2015 CCR has been completed and mailed out. I've also included a wellhead protection educational page as part of our Phase 2 wellhead protection plan. And as part of that plan, I want to make everyone aware that Tractor Supply in Tipton will take used motor oil and other petroleum-based fluids for free. And then also that the Hamilton County Hazardous Waste in Noblesville, next to the fairgrounds on Pleasant Street, will take household chemicals, paint, and other hazardous waste for free of charge. It's never a good idea to dispose of these items on the ground. They will eventually find their way into your drinking water. And we're going to be flushing hydrants on July 7th, weather permitting. Under wastewater, been performing daily checks at the lift station, ponds, and the SSO during rain events. Sewer plant's open, and we are discharging. We've had 7.9 inches of rain this month so far. Our weekly sewer samples are complete, and I've been applying BioBugs weekly, and they're working well. We put a new bio block in the lift station to help with the oil and grease there. MK Betts will begin work at the sewer plant on Monday. They've delivered some equipment and material, and then I've informed them that we're going to brick the building ourselves, so they're going to prep it. It'll be prepped for brick, wrapped, ready to actually lay the brick. Cool. And then I'd like to get approval to buy some replacement equipment. One of them is a new concrete chainsaw to replace our demolition saw. Our current saw is over 25 years old. Town's been using my saw for the last 3 years. And they're $1,760. I'd like to get a new trimmer, $320, And lastly, a blower for $208. With our discount, we save $572. We get a 20% discount on steel products and rentals, or a total of $2288. Talked to Robin. We can take it out of our utility equipment replacement fund. We've got $41,000 in that fund right now for equipment replacement, maintenance of equipment.
Depreciation on your
I
fund.
motion to okay it.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Appreciate it. The chainsaw's gonna be the slick part for us. This chainsaw will cut concrete, and most of our water mains are concrete. So instead of having to dig a gigantic hole so you can get the demolition saw upside down to cut a piece of pipe,
Yeah.
you can just cut right through it. It's got a 16-inch blade on it. It'll cut any size pipe that we have in town. Plus, you can use it to cut asphalt on the street. When we do street cuts now, we'll be able to do a full depth cut, so you're not going to spall anything off. You know, because now we can only cut 4 inches down. You always end up tearing up around your hole when you do have to make a street cut. So now we'll be able to cut through the entire street. It's going to be really nice.
Which one of you did the second on that? Jody motioned.
Toby did.
Okay.
Then under street, thank you for that. And then under streets, we had minimal storm damage. It's all been cleaned up. Then on my quote, we had some additional things on there. I've got a quote from Ron Hammock to trim these 4 trees at the west end of Main Street, which we did not do them the last time we did trees on Main. It's for $400. I talked to him about that willow tree that we discussed at the last meeting, which it came in where I thought it would. It's $350. One of the biggest things we had to clean up from the storm was down at Louis Schildmeyer's house, and he's requested it about 100 times over the last 15 years. He wants those 2 trees removed next to his house that are on Indiana, and I got a price today for that, which is $600. All these include the stumps. If we did all that work, and plus what I talked about at the last meeting, it would bring the total up to $4850.
That was all the alleys trimming and all that
The water
stuff?
plant, the sewer
Okay.
plant, plus 1, 2, 3, there were 4 other trees in the initial bid, besides all the trimming and clearing.
Where are we at on funding for that, Robin?
Well, we had a discussion.
Okay.
I think we can make it work, but I would be okay with you guys approving it and letting me look at the budget. I can't take anything out of local roads and streets or MVH, even though it could come out of MVH, because we just don't get enough money in those funds, and with the paving last year, we're just wiped out. We could probably do it out of the general fund. I just want to work the budget real quick and see
Okay.
how we are with that, because we did get tax money back, but some of that was money that we paid to obtain Carl Kane's property, and now we're maintaining the ball diamond, so I've been paying Kurt more out of the general fund than what we normally would have, because I don't think it's fair to hit the utilities all the time with that. So, and this is the year out of festival that we have to buy the boxes, and that's a big expense. So I think we have it. I just want to see how to
Okay.
split it up. That's my 2 cents.
I'll make a motion that we approve that and let Robin figure out which account she wants to take it out of.
Can I hear a second?
I'll second.
Well,
One thing too.
It's been 15 years since we've done a significant thing like this too.
Well, and 2, with Louis, there was a fairly good sized line that come out of one of those trees over there.
It was the biggest
And,
one.
and 2, you know, with that being said, once you know that the tree's bad and damaged, then you're liable as no longer an active
And
guard.
here's-
If anything would happen, damage his house, or somebody get hurt, we would have to pay for it in the long run.
Here's where I'm at with that too.
So-
The south tree needs to go. The north tree is questionable, but all things considered, you might as well just do them both. He wants them both going. It may have some life left in it, but it's
Well, and while Ron's here,
not, that's what I mean, it's not long. And he said if he did them both at the same time, he'd do it for $600, and that includes grinding the stump. And I mean, I don't know if you looked at the one, but it's about that big around.
they're big.
Yeah. So, it's pretty reasonable. I'll let him know.
Yay.
figure out how to pay for it.
And then, just the last thing I have, I did meet with Endeavor last Thursday, and it appears that our issues have been resolved. I'm still waiting on the bond and the insurance certificate. But I'd like to have some type of written agreement signed by both parties before I issue the permit or lift the stop work order. I'm gonna get Tom, what I wanna do is have Tom write it, or at least the technical portion of it, which he said wouldn't be a big issue, and then give it to Aaron to look at, because although I had the discussion with him, here, I'll just show you guys the map. I sat down and went over this book with their plans. And this is ours. I made one of these and gave to them, so there's no confusion. Everything in green is good without conflict. These 4-inch lines, if we do a water project, we'll have to move over anyways. So they can be along us there. The red colored ones are places where they've already installed that we have an issue. And then orange is where they will be going, where there could be an issue, but they need to maintain that 5 feet. And really, the subdivision, I just did, these utility easements are so big out here. Being 5 feet away from us isn't going to be a problem, but where the orange is where we have water and they're running on the same side of the street as us. But like I said, the easements are so wide that out here they'll be fine. I mean, they'll be able to be 10, 15 feet away from us without any issue. And I'm even running where their existing phone line is, because the phone's already buried out there. So
the red lines is where they've already got existing lines on top of our water lines.
exactly. And you know, there were 2 options there which haven't really been nailed down, and that's why I'd like to put this in writing to kind of put the ball in their court. And you know, Tom came up with that second idea. It's one, we either have them remove them and move them, or 2, he had a couple options there. It was the language that, I don't remember the first time frame, but if we were going to do some sort of routine work or add or move something, we would give them so much notification. And then I know that in an emergency situation, we give them a 2-hour notification. They've got to come deal with it and get it out of our way, or we cut it. And it's their responsibility and their issue to fix. But I'd like to have that in there. I'd also like to have, you know, the 5-foot language for these orange areas that I've noted that could be a problem. You know, with that.
Is the space available in those orange areas?
Don't know. I sound this way, don't care. I mean, they can run on the other side of the street. I mean, they've got one orange area that I've already talked to them about where there's no room, period. That's that stretch of county line on the south side between Hopkins Drive and Walnut. In that run is water, sanitary sewer, power, phone, cable, gas, and storm sewer.
Have mercy.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we had to go under the sidewalk to get the storm sewer out there. I mean, that was the only real estate that was left in that run when we did the project last year. And he said they have a fiber run through there already, and they're either going to utilize that or he is going to come from the other side of the street.
I'm gonna say that fiber runs on the north side.
It's on both.
Is it on both? I know there's one on the north.
Yeah,
But they have one on the south as well.
they were gonna add to both of them.
Okay.
But that one particular section I talked about, he was talking about running a drop over from it. And then I was telling him for a few of the houses near Walnut, I threw out the idea, which he's working on this. I said, you know, you could go up the alley and do it from the back. But that was one area. I don't know if there's enough room in every orange area, to be honest with you. I mean, there is, they're gonna have to move it, or it may cause them additional work, which that's kind of been one of the points that they haven't wanted to talk about. You notice we have our meeting, and when it comes to this point, they don't really wanna talk about it. And like I said, Matt and I talked about it, and everything, seemed to be good. But I'd still like to have some sort of document in writing that we send them. We talked about this, I recorded the meeting also, but we talked about the bond. And they're wanting us to issue a building permit before they get a bond. And I told them that's just not how that works. So he's trying to convince me that the bond company won't issue one. And I just told him, I said, well, Matt, let me tell you, to bid work in the town of Atlanta, you have to include a bond in your bid packet. I said, you haven't even been awarded just a bid, not even to get the job. So I said, you need to go back and talk to your bond company, because this is, routine work. And I told him we have to have a bond and we have to have the certificate of insurance before. And he said we were gonna get him this week, so we'll see. But my recommendation is to have some sort of document in writing, nailing down these.
Did Tom give you any idea what he would charge to write something like that up? Because I know that they were concerned about costs, going to our engineer if they have to pay for costs.
Have you seen the bill? Have you seen,
Yeah,
you saw the
I
bill?
seen it.
It was in the claims, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tom's bill?
$1,700.
Yeah, Triad's bill.
Yeah,
It's like $1,600
yeah.
and some change.
And I guess we pay that bill and then
We paid
we're
it.
We try to
reimbursed.
get it back.
Yeah, and get it from Endeavor, so we have,
Well, and
We
I've
have paid
reviewed,
that,
and I'll
so.
tell you, I reviewed it, and it's not that I want to go this route with them, but I reviewed our ordinances. I mean, they're getting off pretty light. I mean, we can, if we want to, it's just like these issues where there's a conflict. I mean, we can require them to have our engineer out there on site while they're working at all times, and they pay for it. I mean, the inspector for Triad, $75 an hour. And, that's in our ordinance. So, it would just be, there'd be money ahead to just do these few simple things that we're asking. Nothing is, out of control. And like I tried to tell them, if their line was already there and we were putting water in for the first time, they'd be freaking out if we were
Sure they would.
trying to put the water main on top of their fiber optic phone line.
Sure they would.
So,
it's just
I think
common
that,
sense.
I don't know, I think that document, and I don't think there has to be a lot in it, because most of it's just gonna pertain to these issues here. And if you guys want, if you guys are gonna decide if you wanna go with Tom's recommendation, to give them that, option B as to leaving what is there now, since it's in, or tell them to move it. I didn't tell them one way or the other. I just gave them this map and showed them where our issues were at.
Did Matt discuss with you, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, about the existing damage that's already been done? Had he heard anything from the state
Well, here's the
as
thing.
to whether they're gonna pay?
We got an email, and it's funny, I really gotta print them all out to read them all. I haven't gone over, I read over some of them briefly. Some of their incident reports admit right in it that it was their fault. Okay? And they have no photographs. And Jay said they sent photographs, and I said, well, Jay, I don't know if you looked at them, because I think he got those forwarded to him, Matt did. And I think it showed an attachment, but what the attachment really was a photograph of the little incident report.
Okay,
It wasn't a photograph of
the incident.
the incident, the damaged area or anything, and that's something I'm gonna try to get done this week, is put a number to that. I've got, because everything, all the material I used, I've since replaced from utility supply, so I got invoices for the material used, and, I'll have to put a labor rate to it, and some of the stuff I'm gonna be fair on. There was some of the repairs that they did help on, so, I'm not gonna gouge them, but then we have 20,000, that day, we had we lost 20,000 gallons of water that day, so, we got that water cost in that, but I asked him to send me the photographs, and I haven't got them yet. I don't think there are any.
Probably not.
The only pictures I ever saw taken was a hit that we had in the alley by Eisenhower's old house. It's torn down. That water main runs crooked. It goes down about halfway down the alley and it starts diving to the east. And it was our fault. It was mismarked there. And that one they hit, that is the only one that I've seen in photograph. And what's funny is, on that one, which tells you they know they're wrong on the other ones, they actually have a little measuring stick device that is metered out that shows where the paint mark is and where the utility is, to show it was outside the 2 foot range. And that is the only one that I've ever seen them take a picture of. And they actually got the little cones out, did the whole little thing.
That protects themselves, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the only one that they did on.
The rest of it.
I'm still waiting on the pictures, but I mean, I think what we'll have to do is, what I think we should do is get this document, this stuff, send them the bill, and, you know, I don't know, that's another thing I want to ask Aaron, or you may even check on, but I just have a different take on this. I mean, I don't know what the legality of it is. I mean, I know what it would be when we do a big project, and I think it would be no different. The bill for the damaged water main should go, like Tom says, should go to Endeavor. Because, and I'll give you this example. We did the big storm project when Watson's was here. They had a few subcontractors for the boring crew. And, you know, in our contract, had that boring crew damaged something of ours, the bill did not go to the boring crew. The bill went to Watson Excavating. And, you know, this permit, this project is Endeavor Communications. That's Endeavor's problem to solve with their employee, not us, not for us to solve. So, I mean, I think we should get this document, give them, you know, the bills that we've incurred to this point, you know, and send that to them.
Yeah, they're not employed by us.
No,
They're not.
no.
Yeah, I don't know, that's probably something that needs to be looked at, because the state statute under the 811 is the contractor that's digging would be responsible and would have to be billed. The contractor doing the digging is responsible to comply to the 811 requirement. Now, under a project you're doing, you got contract and you got subs, that's different, because you're actually contracting with that company, and the subs are their responsibility. There's usually language in the contract addressing your subcontractors. So that's probably something that needs to be looked at through
Yeah.
both sides on the 811 deal, because I don't know how they've got that set up.
I know on school construction projects, if we have an issue with a contractor, we always deal with the general, and Endeavor being
The general.
That's their project.
their owner. It's their project.
They own it.
And we deal with them. We don't deal with the sub. I mean, obviously the sub created the problem, but.
Yeah, and see, then there you go, you got a contract with that general contractor, and those are subs, but we don't know how they got
And
this set up, and this is
This would be
different.
totally different, because Endeavor's not contracted with us. They're just in our town doing a project.
Yeah, so
But we're on the
that's
hook for-
something that,
These damages, and that is a legal question, I suppose.
well, you know, and the other avenue to that too is if they don't want to, you know, make it right for the damages they have done, we can turn them into
We can turn them into,
Regulatory.
the regulatory and the underground, that 811, because they review the 811, any time there's a notice of utility hit, they investigate it, and you gotta show proof of everything that you were in compliance and this and that, so they really don't wanna go there, because they find them and they'll find them and they can actually take your, you know, where you're not allowed to they can lose their license to dig in Indiana.
I'm sure that's where those photographs come into play and why they're so important.
It is.
Why they have taken it when it was our error, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's,
So as of right now, my understanding, we were, prior to Triad's bill, we were looking $2,400 cash deficit from the town's
probably,
treasury.
it's, yeah, I'm gonna sit down
And then you add that 1,600 on that, that we are out.
We're into it for about $4
So,
grand.
yeah, we're looking at about $3,800, $4,000. That's cash right out of the bank.
And that's not including your time.
Oh, that doesn't include any, that doesn't
Yeah.
include any time,
Water.
labor,
Right,
meat,
that's what I'm saying. This is
machines,
cash.
machines,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
truck,
I mean, that's
trucks,
just-
backhoe, nothing.
Yeah.
That's just expenditures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we're looking probably triple that if we had to, you know,
Yeah,
or it'd be
When I get it
considerably a
done,
lot more than
I'll put it
$4,000.
in your mailbox this week, but I'm gonna get that tally together.
Well, I tell you how, I think we need a definite answer from Endeavor as to what they're, you know, whether or not they're gonna make these costs right before we should ever issue another work order. I mean, I want it down in writing. I want to say, yeah, we're gonna pay this, we're gonna pay that. I just don't feel like this town, in fact, this town can't simply afford to pay these kind of exuberant prices.
You're not even.
Or not even this exuberant. We are not gonna make a dime off of this endeavor, not at all.
Well, the problem is, if you look at how much has been put in, it's about 10%. If you kept up on the track record, I mean, we could be on the hook for between 80 and 100 grand by the time it was done.
At this rate.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I wanted that, you know, that bond to be $100,000.
And the insurance.
So we're still up in the air as to what, whether or not they're gonna pay.
Well, I guess we're really not up in the air because eventually, if they really want to go, we'd go to court. I mean, our ordinances cover us. You know, I mean, these expenses from Triad, it's in our ordinances. I mean, they have to pay them. They have to pay them.
So you just want one document from Triad that includes, you know, the expenses that we've incurred?
No,
and
not even the expenses. I'll do that separate. I just want a document that
But
is
they will agree that they are responsible for them, not the contractor.
No, I mean, well, I guess if you want to add that to the document I'm talking about that I want to tell them to do and have Aaron review is the exact specifics about the installation in our right-of-ways and future maintenance, problems, conflicts. You know, I mean, it's just like this, when the county put the new drain in, they've got an ordinance. You know, we had to move our water main. And that's my whole thing in running these with us. My whole thing is in running these with us. You know, these areas that are noted in red, if we have a problem 10 years from now, it's their responsibility to come back and move that, not ours.
Well, why wouldn't we just put it all in one document though? That way it's all there. This is why
Well,
we all.
you can if that's what you
sign
wanna
this
do.
and then we'll lift the stop work order. I mean, if we're gonna do it, we might as well have it
That's fine.
all in writing.
You know, I think it'd be advantage on our part. You know, Jay's having meetings down there with his board of directors. And he's showing, he's gonna say, well, we got this from the town of Atlanta. And they come to some kind of issue on that and say, okay, well, we'll take care of this. And a week later, Jay goes down and says, well, we got this from Atlanta. And so what I'm saying is, I kind of feel like Rob, and I think we need to put down our total issues on one piece of paper, sit it down there and let him sit down with his board of directors and figure out what they're gonna do, what they wanna do, and what they won't do. And rather than getting one issue cleared and then having another issue,
Well,
it just makes things go slowly.
The thing of it is, why I'm to this point.
Because I get the feeling, one thing, that Jay thinks that the town's trying to, you know,
We've already done this.
yeah, I know, but
We
it's-
already gave them a document that lists
Yeah.
everything on it.
I
What
know.
I'm saying is, I want a signed contract between them and us. So there is no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, we gave them this list. They could say, I've never seen the list, but when that's been signed,
So basically, you're wanting Tom to write up basically a contracting agreement for this conflict and these issues is signed between the town
Agreement
and
or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there's some language.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think that we need to do that. Just to-
Loretta?
They did these other 6 towns. Has anybody checked with the other towns to see how they handled it? They're done with the other towns.
Yeah, I don't think they've had any real
Well,
issues with them other than Tipton.
there
They've
are
had-
other, but see, the other 6 towns were done by Endeavor's own crews and their own equipment. This is the first and only one they've subbed out to another company.
Oh, okay.
And they were a lot of like well and septic, and they weren't.
Yeah,
they
this
didn't have
is
those
the
major
first,
utilities.
yeah, I was gonna say, this
Biggest
is the
project.
first town with this many utilities and their own water and sewer utility that Endeavor's dealt with. Everything else has been more rural.
Rural, yeah.
Yeah. They did tell us that.
Well, I'll make a motion, we have Tom write up a letter that Andy's requested with the information Andy's requested, and then send it
Even if
to,
Tom
then send it on to our attorney for review, sure,
I'll second.
and then we'll sign it.
I think it's an
After.
investment, I mean,
Even if,
we'd pay for it, because if Tom spent 2 hours on it, which I don't think he will from my conversation, you're talking $300.
That's money well spent.
And I just think it's gonna protect us.
Yeah,
You know, it could be a problem 15 years from now,
that's right, Andy.
and we'll be protected,
I agree.
so. All right, well, that's what I'll do. I'll tell Tom, get that, and I'll forward it to Aaron, review. And then we can, I'll get a total, we can encompass these other expenses into that document so that everything is in one. All right, then, moving on to building, I've issued one building permit.
Have we finished voting on these issues? I know we've had motions and seconds, but I don't know.
Motion and a second.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for keeping us on task.
Moving on to building, I've issued one building permit, had 3 zoning inquiries, had 1 building permit inquiry. I had Duke Energy remove the power from 130 West Meridian Street. It was unsafe, potential fire hazard, over here at Carl Kane's.
Okay.
They had already orange tagged it, which meant it would have, it'd have to be replaced and upgraded anyways. But it was a 60 amp meter base with the old cloth wire coming out of it, which was to bare wire. I mean, I went over there with my electrical meter and probed it, and it's hot. I mean,
Do they charge anything for that? Andy?
no, they've already done it.
Okay.
It's
I'm just
done.
curious.
Yeah, no, they don't. And then, as I told you earlier, I've received the health department's report for 315 South Railroad, and I'll be moving forward with condemning on that property.
Okay.
And that's all I have, unless you have any questions about anything. And well, I will tell you one thing, you're gonna get them in the mail anyways, but on our consumer confidence report, for our reporting for last year, we were not even close on our levels. I mean, our water, we were way under. On copper, which was 1.3 for a maximum contaminant level, we were a 0.655, which that's at someone's house, copper plumbing. And then on lead, maximum contaminant level was a 15, and we were a 0.9.
Good.
And then on our halo acetic acid, our highest detected, we do on halo acetic acid, trihalomethanes, we're now in stage 2, which means we now monitor in 2 places. We used to just monitor the water plant, now we monitor close to the tower, so we do the fire station and the water plant. Our highest detected level on halo acetic acids was a 23.8, and the maximum contaminant level was a 60. And then trihalomethanes, our maximum detected level was a 45, and maximum contaminant level is an 80. And then last year, under inorganic compounds, we also tested, our barium was a 0.371 with a maximum contaminant level of 2. Fluoride was a 0.6 with a maximum contaminant level of 4. And then our nitrates, our maximum was a 1, our highest detected limit, and the maximum contaminant level was a 10. So we're way under. We don't have any issues. Like I said, everybody will be getting copies in the mail. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, we'll move on to, I guess this would be old business. We have a resolution regarding, it's a resolution of the town of Atlanta to transfer money to the Jackson Fire Territory. whereas the town of Atlanta, Hamilton County, Indiana has received funds from the Excise Tax Fund and Financial Institution Tax Fund, whereas the amount of $2,676.61 is the town of Atlanta's portion of Jackson Fire Territory excise tax, whereas $1.86 is the town of Atlanta's portion of Jackson Fire Territory Financial Institution tax, whereas the Atlanta Town Council is in agreement to transfer the above funds totaling $2,678.47 to the Jackson Fire Territory. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Atlanta, Hamilton County, Indiana, that henceforth each future distribution for the Town of Atlanta's portion of the Jackson Fire Territory Distribution Fund, to which the town is entitled, shall be reviewed by the Atlanta Town Council, and the decision to distribute said funds to the Jackson Fire Territory will be put to vote by the Atlanta Town Council. Ordained and passed by the Town Council of the Town of Atlanta, Hamilton County, Indiana, this 23rd day of June, 2015. So do I hear a motion to, I guess, would it be pass or adopt this resolution?
Adopt the resolution.
Adopt this resolution. Do I hear a motion?
Make a
I make
motion.
a motion, we adopt the resolution.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I assume each one of us need to sign this, Robin?
Yep.
Any other old business tonight?
I have a few things.
Okay,
Some are old, some are new.
okay.
We're on the agenda so far to meet with Tiffin County Commissioners on next Monday, June 29th at 9 a.m.
Okay.
So, will somebody from the council be going to?
I can go.
Andy's going, Ryan is going,
Okay.
I'm going, and then at Andy's suggestion, we asked Patty Robertson from the bar to go.
Okay.
And she's gonna talk to him about how it's impacted her business, which
Okay.
was a good idea. So, I don't know if Mark Harebrand's going or not, but we probably should have a council member there. That's 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Monday.
Yeah. Tuesday at 7 p.m. I don't know if you guys got it or not. We'd have a public hearing for Triad to go over the PER for the proposed wastewater, or the proposed water project. So that's Tuesday the 30th.
And that's
And we'll have to have a quorum. It won't take very long, but we'll have to have at least 3 of you here. It's a formality. And,
Is that during the day or
no, it's at 7
7?
on June 30th.
Okay.
And then my budget workshop is July 19th. I think it's at 2:30. If anybody wants to go, if not, I'll come back and tell y'all. I'm going on vacation July 19th through the 23rd, but Jennifer will be here. And then I wanted to talk to you guys. I had somebody that lives here in town. I don't know if you know Jim Barber that lives out in the subdivision.
No of them.
Lives on the pond.
He's the
Yes.
president of the gun club.
No of them.
He talked to me about the ball fields too. He's very interested in helping. He said he's probably going to be retiring in the fall. So I don't know how best to go about it, or what you guys think about maybe just forming a committee of like someone like Jim Barber. I know Rick is still really wanting to help. Maybe a council member or 2, however you guys feel about it, and just getting, and maybe the guy from Hamilton Heights,
Yes.
getting a committee together that can explore what we can do with the other towns, and then bring information to the council. That way, they don't have to have quorums, they don't have to advertise meetings, they can just go find out all the information they can and then bring it to you all to make decisions. How does that work?
I think that's an excellent idea. Any comments, thoughts on that?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, it may not look like it, but we've been spending a lot of time out there.
Oh, I know you have.
It's
obvious.
there's just a lot. There's just a lot.
Yeah, there is.
It just is.
if we've got folks that are willing to
They would
volunteer.
really have no authority.
Right, willing to volunteer their time, and focus on that, and that alone, and that be their project, and report to us. I think that's an excellent idea. I mean, we gotta start somewhere if this thing's going to ever get off the ground and be something again.
I don't know how you form a committee, though.
Well,
That's as far as it goes. I mean, do we?
Turn it over to that guy and tell him to have at it. And he can be president or however he wants to set it up. I mean, basically, they're just volunteers, seeking information as to things that are out there that's available or possibilities of funding or something or grants. I don't know what all they'd be looking at, what all they're interested in looking at, but like I say, they have no authority, so basically they could set it up however they'd like. And
So you all have no interest in like selecting a committee?
not
You just,
necessarily.
anybody that's willing to,
anybody,
Maybe contact Dylan Bader since he, is already involved with
right,
a league.
Yeah, I mean,
And he
like I
might,
said.
right.
be involved with them or whatever, I mean.
Right. I mean, our hope is, I know my personal hope is that that thing revives and, we see kids playing baseball down there again. Whether they're kids from Arcadia or Cicero or wherever.
Yeah.
I mean, there that facility is, and, right now, we're obviously maintaining it. As you said, Andy, you're spending a lot of time down there. It shows. And,
I like the signs, Andy.
Oh, by
Said
the
I like
driveway?
signs, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Signs and-
yeah, I mean, it's posted,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, if he's,
Well, I wouldn't have any objection if Baber or whoever
whoever.
wants to form a committee of their own, get whomever they want, as long as they come back with some good, solid, legitimate information for us to review. And I think that's basically what all five of us really want, is just somebody to take it over. It's there, if they just take somebody to step up.
Well, I can't remember, is it the transportation director down there? I have to look at the email, but I mean, I think we have interest in it being part of the Hamilton Heights Sports Association, but the issue is.
Chris Franklin.
Yeah, Chris, but the issue is, we gotta figure this out because, we're gonna have to get it up to par before they take over. I mean, they're not gonna
Well, I know they used it last year.
sink,
Somebody like Mr. Barber knows a lot of people too, and he could get some donations, but he could get stuff donated, like building materials or.
Chris May also,
Something's broken.
I tell you what, our ball diamond in Arcadia was, in rough shape. I mean, they played on it and everything, but when Davey Pickett came in there, he got a bunch of guys together that weren't involved, they weren't parents of the kids playing, but they were friends of his, and he went around and he put together a heck of a group of people that, I don't know that they ever formed a committee or whatever, but Davey just had all these young people down there, and, they built that press box, they poured concrete, they got a lot of sponsors, they got billboards full down there that done
Part of the
it.
problem.
And they had a lot of money and got,
The
building
people-
materials donated.
The people
And
using
labor.
the field now
The kids.
are doing nothing.
Well,
Teams playing down there, nothing.
well,
I
that's
mean,
something,
they don't even pick their own trash up.
well, maybe that's something we need to talk to them about. Either they gotta make, pitch in and do something down there, or else they can't be down there either at this point. We ain't gonna go down there and babysit and clean up after somebody that's using it for free.
One of the things that,
Well, and the kids go down there and destroy it, so.
I've seen several kids, and I know who some of them are. I'm not trying to drop names, but my feeling is, if you got 6, 7 kids down there, and there's no ball bat, there's no ball, there's no mitts, there's no intention of playing ball.
They don't need to be
okay?
down there.
They're down in the dugouts, and God knows what all's going on. As far as I'm concerned, they have no business even being there. Okay, now I know we can't set up babysitters to sit up there and watch that, but we need to eliminate that element. And if there's kids wanna go out there and throw pitch and catch and play ball, you know, I'm all for that, as long as they pick up their trash. I don't care who's running the thing, you know. But like I say, if your kids are up there just a hangout place, that's,
I normally pull in there and tell them.
well, that's why I know some of the boys and I know some of the parents, and I told them, I said, well, you know, maybe somebody will stop by and tell them to, you know, if they're not playing ball, they should leave. But I didn't feel like it was my responsibility, or even had the authority to even tell somebody that, you know. So, and it doesn't do any good to put signs up there. Kids can't read, you know. They read
No,
what
they
wanna
don't
see.
want to
Yeah.
read.
That's
Give them
what I
something to
mean.
vandalize.
Yeah.
So,
I think this committee thing would be good, and
yeah,
then maybe they could
that's
get,
why I say, yeah.
Start.
they'd get something worked out with Cicero or Arcadia Water, where they're gonna get something organized down there to where they're going to be having, you know, teams and join back into the league with Atlanta, Arcadia, and Cicero all together, because I don't think there's enough kids in Atlanta to have teams and stuff to keep that thing going. So we about have to
Actually, what-
join in with the other communities.
Well, we did, I know when I was coaching, they would send letters out through Hamilton County schools, Hamilton Heights schools, for those that didn't get accepted in the Cicero League or in the Arcadia League. And the kids would come up here, and we'd have quite a few.
Well, I know Basil Baker, before he passed away, he is down there on that other diamond, and he was coaching here in Atlanta and helped out down here in Atlanta. So I don't know what that was, you know, how that was set up, but, you know, that's what they gotta have. They gotta have involvement with the other communities to keep this thing going and being successful, or it's gonna be back the way it was.
So you gonna tell Baber to go ahead and do whatever you? or-
I'm gonna talk
or
to
who?
Mr. Barber.
Barber, I
And
mean,
tell him,
Barber.
because when he came in and talked to me about it, I said I would come to you guys, and because he was like, I want to help. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you, and then I thought, well, maybe, would you be willing to join a committee, and that's kind of how it happened, so I'll get hold of him. And Rick always asks me about it every time he talks to me, so I'll let Rick know. And Rick and Jim know each other, so
That's good.
kind of like, I'll let those two know, and they can.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that'd be nice. I know Rick was wanting to have an adult softball deal go down there, and I think that's great. I don't have a bit of problem, because I know Rick could take good care of it when he's down there and his involvement and stuff, and, you know, and they could schedule
they
around the
used to
kids
have it
playing down there.
yeah.
Because usually they do theirs on Sundays, I think, is when they had their softball games and stuff like that, so
And later
Yeah,
in the season.
that'd be a great idea.
That's all I have.
Any other new business this evening? Do I hear a motion that we sign the claims and adjourn the meeting?
My motion, we sign the claims, adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.